This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 23, verse 5. Wilt thou set thine eyes upon that which is not? For riches certainly make themselves wings. They fly away as an eagle toward heaven. NLT version. In the blink of an eye, wealth disappears, for it will sprout wings and fly away like an eagle. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Yahweh is the name who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahweh Shai is his son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. First and foremost, I want to give all praises and all glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Wakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who ruled well and taught us this truth. They are the true teachers for the nation of Israel on earth today. And citation to the Akim out there pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth and risking their life for Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai's sake. I'm Brother Samak from the GMS Miami camp. And yes, the reason why I brought out the book of Proverbs, chapter 23, verse 5, is that we got breaking news, hot off the press from CNBC. The title is beautiful for those in the know, because prophecy is happening. All right, America is on a decline. When you have a American news media reporting this is Sell America, I mean, that's just music to our ears. Yeah, man. All right, prophecy is speaking. All right, all praise and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right, this is a sign that America is on its way out. Okay, the U.S. dollar Treasury prices tumbled. All right, so you have now investors saying, hey, if you want us to continue to buy your debt, America, you need to raise, all right, the yield. Okay, that's why that's why the yields are spiking. All right, the interest. All right, which is basically investors are telling America that if you want us to continue buying, all right, your piece of shit U.S. Treasury bonds, all right, we want to get a greater return. All right, which is causing Treasury prices to tumble. Okay, because that's the cause and effect. All right, so this is good stuff, man. All right, the faith in America is dying. All right, this is why gold and several other commodities are spiking. All right, so we're in an interesting situation. Okay, we'll see how this plays out. All right, could this be a rug pull for those that are shorting the market? Possibly. All right, but the damage is done in terms of the perception. Okay, because now people around the world are looking at America as, is this a place to invest in? All right, is this a place to continue to invest in, given the current administration, given the political theater? All right, and more people are going to alternatives like gold, like silver, like crypto. All right, to hedge against the impending doom. And America, you're on your way out. All right, this is Yapa stuff. All right, globe flees U.S. assets. And what are U.S. assets? Stocks and bonds. Okay, this is why Treasury prices tumbled. All right, people are selling, all right, these bonds and requesting, okay, a higher yield. That's what's happening. Investors are selling bonds, Treasury bonds. This is why prices are tumbling, and then saying, hey, to America, all right, to the American, the government. Hey, if you want us to continue buying your bonds, you need to give us then a higher yield. Okay? This is what's happening. This is America. Yeah, man. This is why this place is on its way out. And that's why I read Proverbs chapter 23, verse 5. You know, we're here, man. The Sell America. Man, this is music to my ears. All praise and glory to Yahweh Shem Shai. All right, trade is in full swing Tuesday morning. All right, President Donald Trump's latest threats around Greenland push global investors to shift exposure from U.S.-centric investments. Right, and the top U.S.-centric investments, again, are stocks and bonds. That's the top. That's what Europe's mainly invested in, trillions. Okay, I got proof. I got proof. Hold on. What major asset does Europe have from America? Europe's major assets from America are vast financial holdings, trillions in U.S. stocks and bonds. So what you're seeing is Europe is doing a massive sell-off on stocks and bonds. This is why the market, all right, went down to 800 points, I believe, right? Okay. And again, treasury bonds. The investors are selling these treasury bonds. That's why the bonds, okay, treasury bonds got cheaper, because what the investor is saying is, to America, is that if you want us to continue to hold on to your funky debt, we want higher interest rates. Okay? You're not credible. You're not credit worthy anymore. You're not credible anymore, given the situation. Given this man Donald Trump really fucking up America royally. And these average Americans can't see it. Like Donald Trump fucking up this place, man. You know, you got Europe just doing a sell-off. Okay. Oh yeah, man, it's going down. And I love it. It's spicy, man. This is spicy stuff. Okay. So that's it. Whenever you see treasury bonds go down in price, that means investors are selling it and then demanding a higher yield if they were to continue buying, okay? Or they want to renegotiate. Let's put it that way. We want to renegotiate, okay? If we want to hold on to your funky debt, all right, we want higher yields, okay? You're not credit worthy anymore. You're not credible, all right? And what Donald Trump has done in 2026 is, whoa, all right? Europe is literally in economic warfare with America. This is a sign. The beast shall hate the war, all right? So just giving you, a little bit of financial lesson right here. You're only going to get this here at Great Millstone to the Spirit Part Yahweh Shem Shai. Our apostles and elders always told us to look into things so that we can be able to explain it, to the average person, to our people, because our people, they're not privy to these terminologies, all right? And it's understandable. None of us were, all right? But when you're looking at prophecy, you got to get into these things, because then it boosts your faith and confidence, like, yo, we're almost out of here, okay? So this is exciting stuff. So you got the investors telling America, hey, all right, we need to renegotiate. If you want us to continue to buy your funky debts, all right, we want higher interest rate. And that's why the bond prices tumbled, yet it's sending yields spiking, okay? Because now there's a demand for a higher return, okay? Because of why? Loss of confidence, all right? So this is only going to get worse for America. This is America now. And America is slipping. This is to sell America again within a much broader global risk off. Kirshner Gua, head of global policy and central banking strategy at Evercore ISI, wrote in a note to clients. Says precious metals, gold and silver, marched the fresh highs. Gold, which has long been viewed as a safe haven investment during periods of geopolitical turmoil, was on track for its biggest one day again since 2020. Right, this is like 2020, but on steroids. U.S. stocks tumbled as investors mitigate exposure to American assets. Right, stocks and bonds. The Dow Jones Industry Average slid more than 800 points, while the S&P 500 and NASDAQ Composite each dropped more than 2%. The CBOE Volatility Index, known as Wall Street Fear Gauge, spiked to a highest last seen in November. The latest flare-up in so-called Sell America positioning follows Trump's threats to impose 10% tariffs on 8 European countries as part of his push to take over Greenland. Yeah, and the reason why he wants Greenland, he wants those precious rare earth minerals, okay, needed for the American war machine, all right, for the warplanes. They need them, okay, for weaponry. They need them. You can look into that. It's really the resources, representatives, and we could say also now, America is losing trust in their allies, just as Europe is losing trust in America. So, and it really started. What really started this whole thing is Trump wanting NATO to spend more money, wanting all the European countries to spend more money, okay, on NATO. And that's really what set it off, okay, because Europe is broke. Most of Europe, as Andrew Tate would say, are brokies, okay? All right. And then, of course, with this whole Greenland thing, it's just exacerbating it. Representatives from 27 nation European Union gathered for an emergency meeting in response to Trump's tariff call. You see that? Which he said would start February 1st and then rise to 25% on June 1st. We'll see, I believe the 10% will go into effect. I don't know about this 25. They may, cut a deal. But the damage is done in terms of the mindset, all right? America is not a safe haven in terms of investing in, all right? People are looking at other assets, all right? This is why gold, silver, and crypto are going to skyrocket even more, all right? Now, of course, they'll manipulate it, and they'll do rug pulls in here and there. But if you look at it in a trajectory, it's going to continue going up, okay? Because why is that? Because prophecy has to be fulfilled, okay? Everything, well, gold and silver, they can confiscate, all right? This is why brothers and sisters that do hold gold and silver, don't let greed get to your eyes, all right? Use it for, pay bills and do what you got to do, help out the church, okay? Because they can easily confiscate gold and silver, all right? And they don't even have to go into your house. I mean, even though the scripture says that they will spoil, he'll be as a madman, sparing none, and then he'll spoil, let me get it. I don't want to jack it up. This is the second address. I think it's in 15, if I'm not mistaken. And then we'll go down. Nope, it's in 16. 15, it's not in 15, it's in 16. There we go. Because this prophecy has to be fulfilled too, in terms of him coming down as a madman, sparing none. Yep, second Esdras 16 and 68. For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols. Right? And we have the main idol that's coming, that RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast. That's what everything's all leading to the RFID chip, the mark of the beast. 69. And they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden under foot. Right? Those that went and took the chip, because fires, you got a fire with your name on it. 70. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. Right? Donald Trump is looking to push the Insurrection Act. Right? Okay, something's going to happen. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a false flag event in Minneapolis, Minnesota, to kick off the reason why Donald Trump's got to send in the military. I mean, he has active military on standby from Alaska, real quickly. Active military on standby in Alaska. Yeah, 1,500 U.S. Army soldiers in Alaska on standby for possible. You see that? Deployment to Minnesota. active now. No longer National Guard, active. Okay? It's getting spicy. It's exciting. All right, so, that's why you got to be on your watch. No time we're in. 71. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. Right. So again, spoiling. It's talking about taking shit, right? 72. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Right. Take away your gold and silver. Okay. So they can physically do that. And because we live in a what's it called? Digital world, and everything's at a push of a button, they can always make it so that it's hard for you to make a profit off your silver and gold, because they can always change the price. They can always add a tax on it. So when you do attempt to sell it, you have to pay an astronomical amount. All right. So that's why you don't want to let greed get the best of you. Okay. And the scriptures say that they will toss their silver and gold in the streets too. Okay? That's what it says in the Bible. So, again, when it comes to this financial system, I'm going to be very blatant with it. I'm a cynic with it. I know I'm a slave here. And it doesn't matter gold, silver, crypto. If this devil wants to take it, he'll take it. Okay? If he really wants it, he'll take it. All right, because we're slaves here. We're in captivity. We don't own nothing here. We got to go to our enemy for one of all things. Okay, and the Lord has really put that in my mind. That's why when I look at investments and stuff like that, it's just temporary. Okay, and again, I'm a cynic with it. Okay, because they can easily take it away, easily. All right. Why are you hoarding silver and gold? Don't you know for national security we need silver and gold for the defense of America? Aren't you a true patriot, or are you working for the enemy? Why are you holding silver and gold? This devil can create scenarios to really just take it out of your hand. Same thing with crypto, all right? But like I was saying, this devil is setting everything up for the RFID chip, the mark of the beast. And he's basically creating the turmoil so that people get into this digital prison, okay, out of desperation, all right? And so you're going to see crypto, all right, increase in value. Gold and silver will increase. You won't see physical gold and silver in the stores, but it'll be on paper, okay, which that doesn't make any sense. If you want gold and silver, you should get it to hold it. All right. And that's just my opinion, not financial advice. You do what, do what makes you feel it's going to help you out while we wait on Yahweh Shai in terms of these assets. So, yeah. So we're selling a sell of America. Back to the point. Salaki for going on a tangent, going on a rant. Sell of America. Here we are. This is exciting news. I mean, well, we knew this was coming, and it's here. All right. The sell of America's trade suggests that global investors will place higher risk premiums on U.S. investments of fears that the U.S. is no longer a reliable trading partner. Right. So what the investor is saying is that if you want us, as the investor, to buy your treasury bonds, we want a higher yield, a higher interest rate, okay, a return. All right. We're no longer holding on to, all right, these current rates that we're at. We want something higher. All right. And this is where the Fed's going to have to come in and start buying up these U.S. Treasury bonds. And that's why there is a repo market happening right now. All right. Because the investors have been selling. Okay. Demanding higher premium, higher interest. Okay. If you want to hold on to these U.S. If you want them to hold on to these U.S. Treasury bonds, it's right here. This is actually the actual breakdown. It says, what is risk premium in bonds? A bond risk premium is an extra return yield investors demand for taking on risk beyond the risk-free rate. compensating for credit default risk, interest rate risk, and liquidity risk, often seen as a difference between a risky corporate bonds yield and a U.S. Treasury bond or similar maturity, the credit spread. It reflects market perceptions of economic health, with premiums rising in recessions and falling during expansion, and is crucial for valuing bonds and other assets. Right. So that's what they want. Bond risk premium is the extra return yield investors demand for taking on America's debt. This is what they're asking for. This is the negotiating table. These are the contracts, right? America's so cooked. They don't even understand what the hell's going on, but it's okay. All right? Hey, it's all right. All right, we hear the prophets know what's going on. This is all leading to America's demise. So eventually you're going to see a big market crash, all right? And this is all prophecy. It says in Zephaniah. And that's why this fucking, man, Warren Buffett, I got to respect their investment strategy, man. They are fucking on point. This is why Berkshire Hathaway has been sitting on billions of dollars of cash ready to gobble up, okay, what's about to happen, okay? When there's blood in the streets, this is when you become aggressive in buying, all right? So, because the crash is coming, man. So Zephaniah chapter 1, verse 10, and it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord Yahweh, that there shall be the noise of a cry from the fish gates and a howling from the second and a great crashing from the hills. Right, a great economic crash, which is going to affect the government. All right, not everybody is going to profit off this crash. Okay, there are going to be a lot of investors who are going to end up jumping off buildings. There's going to be a lot of unemployment. There's going to be a lot more, civil unrest. And the government knows this, and that's why, they're bringing in the military slowly, all right? Is that the reason why Minneapolis has been the target? Is it because Minneapolis is a dead state? Is it it's a failing state? Is it one of these 20 states that are already in recession? Hold on, Minnesota. All right, hey, we're just analysts here. The prophets seeing what the will of the Lord is, right? All right. It's the Lord says in Proverbs, a king search out a matter real quickly. Search out a matter, right? Yep, Proverbs chapter 25, verse 2. It is the glory of God to conceal a thing, but the honor of kings is to search out a matter. Right, so I'm searching out a matter. Okay, so ultimately, the reasoning why the military is coming in is because they know the stock market is about to crash, and a lot of people about to lose their jobs, and a lot of people about to riot and do all that, civil unrest stuff, right? That's the reason why Donald Trump has the quick reaction force ready to go. They are all set up in January. Now he's got this 1,500 active duty military personnel ready to go, right? From Alaska. So let's see. Is Minnesota one of the states that's entering a recession? Yes. Multiple analysts from late 2025, particularly from Moody Analytics, identify Minnesota as being in a recession or high risk of one, citing rising unemployment, high consumer debt, slowing GDP growth compared to the U.S. average, and specific industry downturns like hospitality, despite some positive signs like a strong workforce and college enrollment upticks. Right, and college enrollment upticks is just more debt upon debt. That's a fucking joke. All right, so yeah. Moody Analyst says Minnesota among states either in recession or high risk, alongside states like Kansas, Rhode Island, and Washington. There you go. So that's another reason why they need the military there. Because when this stock market crashes, it's going to affect a lot of people in that state. All right? A lot of jobs are going to be lost. Okay? People are going to get uncivil. The prophecies are on point, and we hear the prophets, we look into this stuff because the Lord put the Spirit on us to do it. All right, this is of Yahweh Bashim Yashai. This is His will. All right, I'm going to be frank about this. I didn't wake up in the morning and say, "Hey, I want to see the demise. I want to see the demise and the mechanics of America's economic downfall." Okay? No, the Lord put the Spirit on me to look into the stuff, to have the patience to look into the stuff, to see, all right, with the trajectory of America's downfall regarding its economic, all right, situation. Okay? So with this is of the man's goings of the Lord. How can you understand his own way? All right, When I went to college, I went to film school. Okay? But it was crazy. When I went to film school, that's when I started getting into conspiracy theories. And the one thing that nobody could answer was the monetary system. How are you able to create money out of thin air and then force people to accept this money? How are you able to do that? And nobody could answer that. It was like a religion. They say this is the norm. Why are you questioning it? This is, fractional reserve banking. All right. A debt burdened society. Well, the apostle elders, when I came into this truth, they put me on a term called the Triflin dilemma. All right, which I didn't know that was an actual term. I did know that America always had to be in debt because that was Keynesian economics. Okay, by obtaining debt, you can get prosperity. Right, Keynesian economics. All right, but the apostles they brought out a term that I wasn't familiar with. I was familiar with this term. All right, Keynesian economics. Check this out, because I was reading the book "End the Fed" and from Ron Paul. Keynesian economics, developed by John Maynard Keynes, argued that government intervention, primarily through fiscal policy, spending and taxes, and monetary policy interest rates, is a crucial to stabilize economies, especially during downturns, by managing aggregate demand, total spending, to combat recessions and controlling inflation, countering the idea that free markets self-regulate to fuel employment. Right, basically going into debt. All right, this is just a nice fancy way of saying going into debt. All right. Increase spending, you see? Cut tax to inject money and create jobs. All right. Lower interest rates to encourage borrowing. There it is, debt. And investment during downturns. You see that? This is Keynesian economics. But then the apostle elders, they mentioned Triffin dilemma, which Myron stated in one of his recent videos. But the apostle Ben said that. The Triffin dilemma, okay? Which just proved this is America. Triffin's dilemma. And I went to this before, but repetition is the art of remembrance. Triffin's dilemma describes a fundamental conflict for countries whose currency serves as the global reserve currency. See, that was the key right there that the apostle elders were able to explain. And it's like, oh, this makes even more sense. Okay, due to America's global reserve currency, the Federal Reserve, all right, it has to be in perpetual debt. It must run trade deficits to supply the world with enough currency for reserves. But these deficits eventually erode confidence in that currency, which is happening now. We're clearly at the end. This is all spiritual. But these deficits eventually erode confidence in that currency, threatening the system's stability. Yep. Named after the economist Robert Triffin. Triffin dilemma. Yep. Okay. So there you have it. All right. So we're here. The crash is coming, and a lot of people are about to feel the pain. Only certain people are going to be able to, what's it called? Do well when this crash comes. Again, they have to reset the system. They have to put everybody into this digital prison for the RFID chip, the mark of the beast. All right, and that's why they're going to allow particular assets to rise, like crypto, okay, like gold and silver. All right, and again, a lot of people are not going to be able to buy gold and silver physically. It's going to be on the paper market. That's because everything's going digital. Okay. 11. How ye inhabitants of Miktesh, for all the merchant people are cut down, all they that build silver are cut off. Right. And eventually all this is going to crash ultimately, where having gold and silver is not going to matter either. All right. That's why your trust has to be in Yahweh B'Shem Shai. All right. uh, uh, money is not going to be able to be a defense, okay, when all hell breaks loose and there's chaos in the streets and people are, okay, looking for food and water and people are cannibalizing each other and they're killing each other like the purge, okay? Silver and gold is not going to protect you. It's not. All right, that's why the where it says they shall throw their silver in the streets, right? Silver in the streets. Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 19. They shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of the Lord Yahweh. They shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels, because it is the stumbling block of their iniquity, right? People are, right now there's a big gold and silver conversation going on throughout the world. Central banks are buying it up. Average people are talking about it. Yo, how can I get more silver and gold? All right, but that's not going to be able to deliver them, okay? All right, and this is something you have to keep at the forefront of your mind. That gold and silver, crypto is not going to deliver you. Only Yahweh Bashem Al Shai. Now, granted, there's nothing wrong with buying it and holding on to it. I am not saying not to buy it. You know what I'm saying? If you can afford it, buy it. All right, if you make a profit, good. But just know that this is not going to deliver you. Only Yahweh Bashem Al Shai is going to be able to deliver us. Okay? And again, this devil can easily take it just by writing laws. All right? And it says in the scripture, he's going to come as a madman, sparing none. All right? Spoiling. All right? And taking the goods of those that fear the Lord. Who's that talking about? The Israelites. Okay? So, let me bring this out. There's going to be a civil war too coming out of all this. The next crash is Esau's not going to be able to do controlled demolition. This next economic crash is going to cause a lot of chaos and pandemonium. Isaiah chapter 19 verse 2, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. Right. And when this next economic crash in America happens, it's going to happen. It's going to be all-out civil war. So, low one is just edifying. I thought this was very significant. I saw it, had to do a lesson on it, learn these times. So with that, I want to give all praise and all glory to Yahweh Bashem Al Shai, Bashem Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who grew well and taught us this truth. They are the true teachers for the nation of Israel on earth today. And salutation to the Akim out there pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth and risking their life for Yahweh Bashem Yahushai's sake. Love you, brothers. Keep it there, keep the faith, keep pushing, keep fighting, keep studying. Pray without ceasing. Pray for each other. Pray for the apostles, elders. We're almost out of here. For the futures that are watching, keep studying. When you pray, pray, check up. Shalom.